Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome to today's video and welcome to my first ever episode of Makeup and Movie Monday. So today I am starting a brand new series, I guess if you want to call it a series, where every Monday I bring to you a makeup look, but then I'm also going to be talking about a film. Yeah, it's kind of loosely based on Bailey Sarian, who does Makeup and Mystery Mondays, and obviously a lot of other YouTubers do that. So today, if you could not tell by the title already, I'm talking about a very special film, especially one that speaks very truly to my heart. And it's one of my favourite films of all time, and I kind of built a massive love for it, and I'm quite obsessed with it. And it is Apocalypse Now. So why I chose this for my first kind of makeup movie Monday, I don't know. I just had been thinking for a while. I was like, I don't want anything kind of very modern. Obviously, this is a classic movie. This came out, well, I'm going to talk about more about that obviously as I go into the actual film. But yeah, I just really wanted to talk about a film that was just so unique and so kind of special to me, because I grew up watching this film, and I probably, yeah, like most people, watched it when I was way too young. And just everything about it I love so much. And yeah, this is going to be me talking about it. This is a very dusty special edition that I have. I'm going through all my stuff at home at the moment because I'm moving. And I have it in like a couple of other versions, but this is the one that is more kind of a bit special because it's like this massive box set, and it comes with a couple of other things that I will show you guys. Obviously, I'm not reviewing the box set. I'm talking about the film, but everything that kind of comes with it is quite relevant. So yeah, this is Apocalypse Now. So let's get into the makeup. I'm not going to be talking about obviously the makeup. I'm going to be just putting it on and talking about the film. So yeah, so Apocalypse Now was directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and it came out in 1979. And this movie is it's special. If you haven't heard of it before, it's very yeah, if you're a film fan, you would obviously have heard about it. It's just insane. It's gorgeous. It is. It's for me. It's a cinematic masterpiece. I don't really think I've ever come across someone who hasn't liked the film. I think probably a lot of people would probably go, "Oh yeah, it's quite pretentious," or "It's quite just full of itself," or yeah, I mean, it's a war film, so you can't really go, what else can you say about a war film? But this movie had gone through so much shit. So let's just get to kind of like the base of it. So the movie, it stars Martin Sheen, it stars Marlon Brando, it stars Robert Duvall, apologies, Dennis Hopper, a very young Lawrence Fishburne, and Harrison Ford pops up in it as well. I believe it was one of his early films as well, but Lawrence Fishburne, this was like his first movie. He was like 15 years old, I believe, when it came out. Around, I think it might be in the fifth, sorry, about 15 or 8, around 18. He plays like a 15-year-old in the film. Yeah, this I mean, where to kind of start with it, to be honest. I mean, it's based on a novella called Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, which came out in 1899. So this is an old it's an old book. I've read like a comic version, like a comic adaptation of it, so I've not actually read the book, which I should do because I absolutely love kind of the film, obviously. But there's many changes that kind of came like with it. But essentially, the story was originally going to be set in the Congo, but I believe when they made the film, they turned it into like the Vietnam kind of story. So the whole story is I've got my notes with me, so I'm slowly kind of nervous and just doing it at the same time. But yeah, this is essentially a journey from the south of Vietnam to Cambodia, and you have Martin Sheen's character, who is Captain Willard, and he has been sent on a secret mission to go to Cambodia and assassinate Marlon Brando's character, whose name is Colonel Kurtz, and he is essentially a colonel who has gone, in their opinion, he's gone insane. Like he obviously was quite a renounced person and very important, but he decided to kind of, you know, deter himself from it all and just start up his own kind of little cult. And essentially the whole film is the journey, which is like down the river. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember what the name of the river is. I should have looked it up, I apologize. But yeah, going down the river on this secret mission to essentially assassinate someone who is more higher up than him. The whole movie is just kind of, it just shows you kind of humanity in itself, because obviously, like I said, it's a war film. It's very kind of it's very shocking, because there's moments when you're kind of like, okay, you did not expect, like, you know, movies, you know, back then they were kind of, depending on the rating, obviously didn't want to have show certain things when it comes to war. But I think what I love about Apocalypse Now is kind of how true it is. And you know, if you haven't seen the film, I mean, obviously this is like a spoiler. This movie came out such a long time ago. If you haven't seen it, I do urge you to watch it. It's just special, and there are many different versions of it. In my opinion, I think the Redux version is probably the best one, because you get so much added onto it. The one part I don't like about it is the whole Playboy kind of thing. It's just, it kind of takes me out of the movie slightly. But I mean, that's just, every movie has kind of one or two things that I'm not always not too sure about. But yeah, that is essentially kind of what the film is. Everything kind of about this movie was problematic from the beginning. So you have Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola, who is this guy right here. As I said, this box set is very special because it comes with postcards, which is pretty cool. I've never used them, obviously. But yeah, this is Francis Ford Coppola. You see him in the movie for like a minute. There's a scene, if you have seen it and never seen him, the scene where Captain Willard is going to meet Robert Duvall's character. You see that there's like a camera crew, and they're kind of like, don't look at the camera, move, or keep on moving. That's Francis Ford Coppola. So before this, he had directed the Godfather movies. Well, 1 and 2, the only ones that should really exist. And obviously before that was The Conversation, which is another amazing movie, which stars Gene Hackman. And that movie is fantastic. If you've never seen The Conversation, please check it out. It's a very kind of like political kind of, yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, and then off kind of Godfather 2, obviously he was like up there with the kind of the movie kind of stance, to be honest. Initially, George Lucas was to direct the movie, which when I read that, I was a bit like, are you sure? Because obviously George Lucas is known for Star Wars. And I, you know, if I had seen Apocalypse Now directed by George Lucas, probably would not be quite what we think it is now. But yeah, initially it was meant to be kind of like funded by Steven Spielberg as well, but obviously that kind of deterred. And then Coppola started, and originally Captain Willard was to be played by Harvey Keitel. So Harvey Keitel is now kind of well known in movies such as Reservoir Dogs and also Pulp Fiction as well. And also his early days is like Mean Streets with Robert De Niro, and those stupid insurance those insurance adverts, which I hate so much. I really hate those adverts. But yeah, Harvey Keitel is an amazing actor, and of course he's in Bad Lieutenant as well. But he was initially supposed to play Captain Willard, like I mentioned. They were already into production, and I think it was Coppola who was just like, this is not working, he needs to leave, to my knowledge. And yeah, so they decided to get rid of Harvey Keitel, and they hired Martin Sheen. So if you don't know what Martin Sheen looks like, sorry, I'm just getting my postcards because he's in a postcard as well. This is Martin Sheen, and he is obviously well known more recently for The West Wing, and quite a few other films that I can't think of right now. But yeah, he is the dad of Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen. So true fact, his real name is Emilio Estevez. So that is pretty awesome. But yeah, when they hired Martin Sheen, I believe he was only available for 6 weeks because they had offered this film to so many other actors, and they said, well, we don't want to be away from America for so long because obviously they had families, and they didn't want to be committed to this film if they were going to be there for such a long time. But what they didn't realize is that this movie has taken a year to make. So I mean, a lot of them are probably happy that they never actually took the job. But saying that, Paul Martin Sheen had been going through some issues. I don't know if he was an alcoholic at the time, but he was going through some rough shit. So the scene where he's in his bedroom and he's kind of drunk and he's just like a scene where he punches the mirror, that is all real. Like, he was going through some really bad times. And in the kind, there's like I think what I'm going to talk about later is Heart of Darkness, which is the documentary around the film. You can hear Coppola kind of egging him on, like making him cry a bit more, which is quite insane. But he went through some really hard times while making this movie, as I think everyone did who was part of the film. But yeah, he had actually had a heart attack on set, so they had to postpone production even more. And I think at that time Coppola was so close to just like finishing it, and the companies really wanted to shut him down because a lot of the time initially the budget was 5 million, I believe, and then it ended up being 30 million. So can you believe it's gone up by 25 million because they were literally blowing shit up every day. And if you have seen it, you would know the iconic opening scene with the doors, like the end, with that massive explosion. And obviously that shit is real. That's not like CGI or anything like that. But yeah, that's one things that I love. One of the things that I love about that movie is the authenticity of just everything around it, and kind of the ending as well when Willard is essentially assassinating Colonel Kurtz. That scene with like the bull being sacrificed, that is real as well. That was a real sacrifice that was taking part, and I think it kind of again shows how real everything was. It's not being sugarcoated. It's not like, a lot of movies are kind of made to be looking quite fake, and obviously war is a very real and serious thing. But yeah, the movie itself, just like I said, went through so much shit. And when it came out, I mean, like I said, it came out in 1979. It got nominated for quite a few Oscars. Yeah, again, like it just, for me, it's just something so special. I'm just gonna go in with this palette. I'm trying to do a little homage to this today. We'll see if it works. But yeah, problems on set. I mean, things blowing up when they probably weren't supposed to. Actors having heart attacks, going over budget. But yeah, like I mentioned, the Heart of Darkness documentary. So that is obviously Heart of Darkness is the original name of the book, and yeah, essentially it came with this box set. So whenever I watch it, it's very interesting because it's kind of outlined by Coppola's wife, who also did like diary entries about the film and talks about, just being on set and everything, because it was crazy, obviously, because you can't make a war movie, or essentially you can't really make a movie about war and it be okay. But yeah, the documentary obviously is on set and just everything around it, and obviously more problems built up when they hired Brando. So he is probably one of the most problematic people ever. And I hate saying that because he is my favorite actor of all time. Like, I will always, I'm not defending because he lost his shit towards the end. But yeah, he obviously, if you didn't know, was part of The Godfather Part 1, playing Don. And I believe, yeah, that was the first time that he had worked with Coppola, and he really wanted to be a part of Apocalypse Now. So what he wanted an advance, I believe, of like $1 million, and Coppola gave it to him. And because obviously he really wanted like the greatest actor in the world to be in his film. So they gave him the money and they said, you need to read Heart of Darkness so you get to know about your character, what he's about, why he should be assassinated, etc. Brando's like, yeah, sure, whatever. It comes to the actual production and he turns up with shaven head, being twice the overweight that he normally is, because when they made The Godfather, he was much younger than he obviously looked because of the prosthetics and makeup and everything, but he wasn't big at all. And I guess during that whole time, he just kind of, like Kurtz, just like lost his mind, and just became really kind of problematic, and he would never like do things properly the way it's supposed to be, and he would always I think Coppola was just like, yeah, have you read the book? And he was like, no. So you kind of, as a director, I'm sure he was probably just like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you trying to ruin my career? But I mean, his performance is definitely one of my favorite performances ever. But obviously, knowing how problematic it was on set, you kind of just like, okay, why you gotta be a dick? But yeah, the movie itself obviously came out, I believe, if I'm sorry, I'm pronounce it right, but Palme d'Or Prize. I don't know why I can't, but he let Palme, you know, the Palme kind of in France. I'm not even speaking English today. But yeah, they received the award for that, rightly so. I believe in the Oscars it won like kind of visual, like cinematography, and rightly so as well. I think Coppola did get nominated for Best Director, and rightly so, because the amount of shit he went through, my God. But then, you know, hard work, it pays off, and he did such a, obviously in my opinion, an amazing job. And obviously all these years later, people are still discovering this film and are able to kind of experience it for the first time, which I think, if you haven't seen if you haven't seen old movies that you're experiencing for the first time, and you don't know spoilers and you don't know anything, to watch it fresh is something I believe so special, because it gives that person the feel of what it was like when it came out, I believe. If that makes any sense, in my opinion. Right, I'm almost done here. But yeah, I thought I would just like talk about this movie because, yeah, it's amazing. Basically, I think I've kind of spoke about how amazing it really is. But absolutely, please check it out, like, because movies, especially when it comes to like hard times like now, if you're running out of things to watch, old movies are always going to be the best thing. I know I'm not making any sense right now because I'm just rambling on. I'm just going to get my lips on and then we'll go from there. Just realised that my lips are not going to match my eyes. Oh, almost there. Okay, yes. So, guys, that is Apocalypse Now. And essentially, it used to be called Apocalypse When, because obviously it took a whole year to make. And the fact that there are now, I believe, 3 or 4 different versions that have come out. So there was like the cinematic version, there was I believe like the Redux version, and then there was a version that came out like a year ago. I actually did not get a chance to see it in the cinema, which I was so annoyed about, but I do have it on DVD. It does not bring a whole lot to the movie, but like I said, if you want to watch kind of the perfect version, the Redux is going to be, in my opinion, like the best version. I think a lot of people would probably agree with me on that as well, because there is stuff in there that kind of that it slows it down a little bit, but it's still really relevant to the movie. But yeah, this is my kind of talk on, in my opinion, one of the greatest movies ever made, one of the kind of craziest movies ever made. And if you have seen it but you haven't seen Heart of Darkness, please check out Heart of Darkness, because it is a documentary that is more kind of as crazy as the film itself. Yeah, Coppola is one of my favorite directors in the world. He's probably, in fact, my second favorite director after Kubrick, just because most of his movies are just amazing and insane. And I want to talk about the Godfather trilogy, but that will have to be kind of maybe later on. I don't want to do it so close next to this one. Plus, I've got to talk about a lot because those movies are more than 3 hours long, and at least, you know, this one is like 3 hours long, a bit more than that, but it's just one film. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my first Monday and movie makeup movie Monday. I apologize if it wasn't very good. Again, it's my first one that I am kind of experimenting with, and obviously, like I said, I didn't want to make it about the makeup, but it's just kind of a flowing thing that I want to try and get used to. Next week, I don't know what my schedule is going to be like, because again, I'm moving, but I will try my very best to do another one. But I thank you so much for watching. If you managed to get through the whole 20 minutes, I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because I upload videos whenever I get a chance to. But thank you so much, and I will hopefully see you soon. Bye bye.